Hi 3B students! I hope you are doing well. This week's comprehension skill is on drawing conclusions. Let's begin the lesson. This lesson's learning objective or goal is students will be able to define the comprehension skill, draw conclusions, and apply the steps learned in order to draw conclusions. So hopefully, at the end of this lesson, you will be able to answer questions in which you will have to draw a conclusion by implementing the information you read and using your prior knowledge. You might be wondering, well, what is a conclusion? A conclusion is a decision or an opinion that makes sense based on facts and details. You draw a conclusion when you use facts and details to make decisions about characters or events. Ask yourself, what do I already know to help me draw conclusions after you have read the information? Here are the steps on how to draw a conclusion. Step 1. Ask yourself, what did I read in the story? Use the story's details or clues to help you draw a conclusion. Step 2. Ask yourself, what do I already know? Use your prior knowledge. Let's say the story you read is about soccer, and you know a lot about soccer. Well, you can use your knowledge about soccer to help you draw a conclusion. Now for the third step. You add the information from step 1 and 2 to help you draw a conclusion. Here I provided an example. I am going to read the short passage and read the question. It was a hot day and the sun beat down on all the people laying on blankets on the sand. The seagulls could be heard overhead flapping their wings, waiting for a scrap of food to drop to the ground. The moist air was rich with the smell of sea salt and grilled hot dogs. In the background was the laughter of children and the soothing sound of waves continuously crashing at the shore. Question. Draw a conclusion. Where does this story take place? Remember the 2 steps on how to draw a conclusion. First step, we use what we learned in the story. Second step, we use our prior knowledge. After reading the short passage, what do we know? What did we just learn from this passage? Well, we know that people are lying on blankets on the sand. Seagulls are flying overhead. The air smells like sea salt and hot dogs. And lastly, there are constant waves. And now we can use our prior knowledge. Have you been to a place where there is sand and seagulls? Or to a place where you can smell sea salt and hear the sound of constant waves? Well, if you have, use that knowledge as well to draw a conclusion. So, where does the story take place? The beach, right? Great job. Now you try. I'm going to read this short passage and read the question to you, then give you a couple of seconds to draw a conclusion. Okay. You wake up just as the sun is coming up. You can't wait. It's going to be a great day. Your classmates sang a song for you. When you get home, your mom has made your favorite dinner. Afterwards, your family sings to you again. You blow out the candles and eat chocolate cake. Draw a conclusion. What is so special about this day? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to draw a conclusion. Remember to use the steps. Use the information you just learned and use your prior knowledge. Okay, so what is so special about this day? Well, it's someone's birthday, of course. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Here is another practice example. I'm going to read the short passage and read the question to you, then give you a couple of seconds to figure out the answer. The boy screams in pain as his mother touches his red back. You should have worn sunscreen like I told you to, she told him. He puts his t-shirt and sunglasses and goes back outside, but the heat of the sun hurts too bad. Now you need to draw a conclusion. What happened to the boy? Remember the 2 steps on how to draw a conclusion. Use what you learned in the story, use those clues, and use your prior knowledge. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Okay, well, what happened to the boy? He got a sunburn. Let's move on to the next slide. Here is our last practice example. Again, I'm going to read the short passage to you, then read the question out loud. All right. Alexander's mom checked her list while she pushed the cart. They went up one aisle and down another. The cart was getting full. They already had vegetables, fruit, and orange juice in the cart. They still needed to get milk, bread, eggs, and breakfast cereal. Many people were going up and down the aisles, filling their carts. Alexander hoped his mother would let him pick out the breakfast cereal. He also hoped they would get home in time for him to go outside and play for a while. Okay, now I need you to draw a conclusion. Where is Alexander and his mom? Remember the 2 steps on how to draw a conclusion. Use what you learned in the story and use your prior knowledge. Okay, I gave you 2 options. The answer is either A, Alexander and his mom are at the park, or B, Alexander and his mom are at the grocery store. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to figure out the answer. Okay. If you said B, Alexander and his mom are at the grocery store, you are correct. You just drew a conclusion. It was never mentioned in the story directly that they were at the grocery store. You used the details or clues in this story and your prior knowledge to draw a conclusion. Excellent job. And this concludes the lesson. Fantastic job, guys. I want to say I'm very proud of all of you and all the work that you have been turning in. As a reminder, when you complete today's Reading Street Workbook page 350, Draw Conclusions, if you are struggling, you can always rewatch this mini lesson or write down the 2 steps. First step, use the information you just learned. Second step, use your prior knowledge.